It seems the Federal Reserve Bank is not content with stealing trillions of dollars from the American people and giving your money to criminal international banks. Now we find out that they're even waging war on our beautiful American tradition of Christmas. The Fed has quietly forced tens of thousands of our small-town private banks and financial institutions across America to stop celebrating Christmas. The Fed even forbids employees of private banks to wear Merry Christmas buttons or to display any Christmas Christian decorations such as crosses or nativity scenes. But the Fed bosses, they didn't count on a tiny little bank in a small Oklahoma town to stand up to them. Here's a clip from a local TV news channel.
2 at 5, a small-town bank is feeling federal heat. The Federal Reserve has just asked the Payne County Bank in Perkins to stop displaying any religious signs and symbols. The bank has been ordered to remove Bible verses from its website, take down crosses in its office, and tellers have been told to take off buttons that say Merry Christmas, God with us on them. Now, the bank has complied with the orders, but they contacted the Oklahoma Bankers Association and state lawmakers. They're hoping something can be done. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear what customers think.
The overwhelming majority of us, the American people, over 80%, support Christmas as a Christian holiday. This is David Duke. Whether or not you're Christian, our holiday of Christmas is intrinsically woven into our American heritage and indeed in all of our European civilization. And anyone of good cheer and tolerance, regardless of religious viewpoint, will find beauty in the values that Christmas represents: peace on earth and goodwill toward men. As my video, The War on Christmas, shows, there's an intense war being waged upon us, taking away our beautiful Christmas traditions and values from us and from our children. This war is not being led by Buddhists, Muslims, or even atheists. It's led by a 2% small minority, and frankly, it is the same group that has controlled the Federal Reserve Bank for decades. For 24 years, the Fed has been ruled by Chairman Alan Greenspan, and since 2005 by Ben Shalom Bernanke. The vice chairman from 2005 was Donald Cohn, who was replaced in 2010 by Vice Chairman Janet Yellen. Not one of them, not Greenspan, not Cohn, not Yellen, and certainly not Ben Shalom Bernanke, celebrates Christmas. They all celebrate Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a celebration of a military victory against Gentiles. That's us, by the way. You see, they didn't want to mix with the Greeks of Syria. The Greeks didn't discriminate or harm Jews. In fact, much like Americans today, they accepted them and were willing to assimilate with them. But for that, the Greeks were massacred, and along with them, Jews were also massacred, who assimilated and accepted the Greeks. Now, what a difference between Christmas and Hanukkah. Christmas represents peace and love. The other represents war and hate. Now, here's a quote from the Jewish super site Zippel. Quote, Hanukkah represents resistance to assimilation. You know, the same thing's going on today. They don't want to assimilate with us. They want to replace us. They want to destroy us and our heritage. It can be shown by what political scientist Benjamin Ginsberg wrote in his well-known book, The Fatal Embrace, Jews and the State. Quote, religious symbols and forms of expression that Jews find threatening have been almost completely eliminated from schools and other public institutions. Suits brought by the ACLU, an organization whose leadership and membership are predominantly Jewish, secured federal court decisions banning officially sanctioned prayer in the public schools and creches or nativity scenes, and other religious displays in parks and public buildings. At the same time, Christian Christmas symbols are banned. Menorahs, which celebrate Jewish ethnic chauvinism and supremacism, they're being put up by the thousands on public land and in public buildings all across America and the world. They're sponsored mostly by Chabad Lubavitch, that teaches that the only purpose of Gentiles on earth, and Gentiles, that's you and me, are to serve Jews. Now that may be hard to believe, but here are the recent words of Rabbi Yosef, the recent chief rabbi of Israel, And you can find his words in the Jerusalem Post. Quote, "The sole purpose of non-Jews," and that's you and me again, "is to serve Jews. The Goyim were born only to serve us. They have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel." He goes on, "Why are Gentiles needed? They will work. They will plow. They will sow. They will reap. We will sit like an effendi, a master, and eat. That's why the Gentiles were created." Boy, that just about sums up the Federal Reserve, doesn't it? Watch my video, Christmas versus Hanukkah, and get the facts on the real meaning of Hanukkah. But in a great story of American resistance, the little Payne County Bank stood up to the mighty Fed, and it whipped their ass. The Fed had to rescind their demand to the bank to get rid of Merry Christmas buttons and Christian symbols. But remember, Payne County Bank won because our people stood up and supported their courageous little bank. Even the politicians had no choice but to get involved or feel the wrath of the people. And now it's time for all of us to do the same thing across America, across Europe, Australia, and wherever our people yearn to be free. As I've told you before, the power of our enemies is based more on illusion than reality. Their power is like that of the wizard in the Wizard of Oz movie. It's just smoke and mirrors. We are the vast majority, and we hold the real power if we just stand up courageously and use that power. Not only are we the vast majority of the population, we are the vast majority in government, in military, in science, in academia, in business, and law, and in the vast majority of workers, management, students, and taxpayers in every nation. If we simply stand up in unity, we can change everything. We can restore our freedom and our heritage. Without our consent, not even the wheels of transportation or business could turn for a single minute. Everything would come to a stop. The day is coming when we will fill the streets just as our people did when they overthrew the communist paper tiger that oppressed the people of Eastern Europe for generations. If Payne County Bank can win, so can we. We just have to spread the truth and stand up together. Tell the truth, be courageous, and we will win. The wizards of finance and media and political influence are nothing but a ridiculous, pathetic bunch of little creeps behind the curtain. As I've said before, they're kind of like Woody Allen. None of us need to walk in silence anymore. God bless you, and Merry Christmas to you and yours. And Merry Christmas to all those good men and women who supported that little bank that saved Christmas. Now together, we will save much more than Christmas. We will save the very life, the heritage, and the freedom of our people, your children.